the one that Man United fans will want to know about is Frenkie De Jong. What's the latest with him, do you think?
So at the moment, Manchester United are still in direct contact with Barcelona. So it's still a negotiation between the two clubs. They made an opening proposal last week, and this proposal was a verbal one for 60 million euros plus 10 million euros add-ons, and Barcelona said no. Barcelona have always been really clear in this story. Since the beginning of June, they asked for 85 million guaranteed money for Frenkie De Jong, and at the moment there is still no bid matches this request from Manchester United. So the two clubs are in touch. I'm sure that Manchester United are still thinking of Frenkie as their priority. I'm sure that Erik ten Hag is trying in every single way to get this deal done. So Manchester United are pushing on this Frenkie De Jong deal. Now it's also up to them to make a new proposal to continue in this negotiation with Barcelona. One of the points on Frenkie De Jong's story is that we had this meeting internally at Barcelona helping the club on a financial situation for this summer, but it doesn't mean that it's over for Frenkie De Jong transfer. It also because one of the points is about the salary. Salary of Frenkie De Jong is a problem as of today for Barcelona. So this is why the situation is still open. It's now up to Man United to reach an agreement with Barca.
Yeah, and is there any indication of what United's willing to pay him? Are they willing to pay him more than he's on at Barcelona, or sort of match what he's on?
No, for sure would be a really important salary, really important contract. So on a financial point of view, Man United know that if they want to sign Frenkie De Jong, they need to offer kind of same contract or they will have no chance. So they are prepared to pay this kind of big salary he's having at Barcelona. But at the same point, at the moment, the player has given, I'm told, no indication to anyone. He's just waiting to see what happens between Barcelona and Man United. He knows that that Erik ten Hag is pushing. He had some direct contact with Erik ten Hag a few weeks ago. So he has no doubts on the interest of Manchester United. He knows about it, but he is not decided on anything. He's just waiting for the clubs to decide.
Yeah, and away from De Jong, Man United in talks with other players at the moment. Obviously, we've seen links with Timber, Antony, Christian Eriksen, among others. Are they in talks with those players as well?
No, these are all players that Manchester United are, all possibilities that Manchester United are exploring. So, for example, for Timber, they had some conversation, but there is still no official bid to Ajax. For Christian Eriksen, they had a conversation, a direct discussion with the agent Martin Schotz a few days ago. They discussed about a potential contract, so it's a possibility, but also Tottenham and Brentford are pushing for him to go next season. So there are many possibilities for Eriksen, and he will take some days before deciding his future. So I think maybe next week or in 10 days, we will have the final answer of Christian Eriksen. And at the moment, that's it for Man United. Of course, Antony is one of the players they are exploring. They discussed internally. Erik ten Hag is big fan of this boy. If Antony is Antony today, it's also thanks to the incredible work of Erik ten Hag. So it's absolutely normal to explore this possibility. But at the same point, it's still something not discussed between clubs. So Ajax have still no bid from Manchester United. They're waiting to see if they will jump into it for Timber or for Antony, but not yet. And then I'm sure that there are other targets that they want to try to keep maybe secret, is part of the market. So I won't say that these are the only names for Manchester United. I'm sure that they are working on many possibilities.
Yeah, of course. And just on Antony, do you think he would be expecting Manchester United to make a move for him this summer? And do you think he would be keen on the move if it sort of materialised?
Who is the player? Sorry,
Antony.
Yes, I'm sure that on player side, I don't see any big problem. Of course, Man United are not playing Champions League, but they're always a top world club. So the player would dream of Premier League football. So I'm sure that he would consider this possibility. The real point is about Ajax, because Ajax would love to keep the player for one more season. They want important fee eventually for Antony. When I see around about a potential proposal for 45 or 50 million, I'm told that Ajax want way more than this for the Brazilian. So it's not going to be an easy one, but I don't see the player as a big problem in the case of Antony. For De Jong, we have to see what happens. But for Antony, at the moment, I don't see it as a big issue. It's more about the two clubs to reach an agreement.
Yeah, and just on Timber quickly, I've seen a few reports suggesting that maybe he'd like to remain at Ajax because of the World Cup coming up. Do you think, is that true? Does that sort of put any doubts on a move to Manchester United?
No, the point is, from what I'm told, is that Timber will be really respectful with Ajax, first point. So he doesn't want to break his relationship with Ajax. So he is leaving the situation with the clubs. He's not desperate to leave the club or to join Man United as soon as possible. He's not forcing this move. This is the real point. Then he knows that if he stays at Ajax and he plays as a starter for the World Cup, it will be really important. With Louis van Gaal, who said many times in the last few days how important it is for him to play, to be part of the World Cup. So this could be a factor, but it's not the main problem. Also in the case of Timber, is not the player the main problem. He will be really respectful with Ajax. He knows that Ajax are prepared to offer him a new contract in case he will stay at the club with an improved salary. So Ajax are trying their best to keep Timber at the club. But I will keep the situation open because we know that Manchester United will go for a centre-back this summer. And so at the moment, there is still no bid for Timber, but this could change in some days for Timber, for Pau Torres or any other.
Yeah, in terms of those two, do you think, are those two sort of top targets, do you think?
Yes, at the moment they are the two top targets. They've always been two top targets at centre-back, but I won't be surprised if Man United will try something different in the coming days. For Pau Torres, they know that he has a release clause. It's around 60 million euros. So this will be the potential value of the release clause, but they know that Villarreal would be willing to negotiate even for something less than this. So it could be around 45, 50 million. So they have all the conditions set. They had some conversation with the intermediaries working on this deal. I see Pau Torres playing in the Premier League next season because it's a serious possibility. But at the moment, it's still not something advanced between clubs. So I think they are considering together with Erik ten Hag the best option, and then they will jump into it.
Yeah, and just in terms of De Jong as well, if that move does fail, do they have alternatives sort of on the menu? Because obviously we've heard of Milinkovic, Savic, Sangare, Vitinha, Ruben Neves. Do you think those sorts of players would be on their radar if they do fail with De Jong?
I'm sure they have alternatives, as the top clubs always do. But at this point, they want to try for Frenkie De Jong. So I'm sure that they will go for their top target because Frenkie would be a top signing as a player, but also a statement from Manchester United. It's like, okay, our new era is starting with this kind of player the manager wanted. So this is why they are trying with this Frenkie De Jong deal, and they will continue with Barcelona in the coming days. I'm sure they have some alternatives. The names you mentioned, Ruben Neves is a player that last summer was already in the list. So he's always been in the list at Manchester United, really appreciated. The real point is about the price, because a few weeks ago, the manager of Wolves, Bruno Lage, said in public that they want around 100 million for Ruben Neves, and they don't see Manchester United paying that money for a single player, like a single midfielder in this case, like Ruben Neves. So I'm sure that they would consider other options. But as of today, the answer about the plan B is always the same. We will try for Frenkie De Jong. So I see Manchester United still pushing in the coming days for Frenkie, and let's see if they will be able to do it with Barcelona.
Of course. Quick word on Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. A few sort of, well, we know Martial, I guess, might go, but a few exit links with Rashford as well. Where do you sort of see their futures at the moment this summer?
At the moment with Rashford, it's still a quiet situation. We had some links with some clubs, but at the moment I'm told there is nothing special. Some links were about Paris Saint-Germain because Paris Saint-Germain had an interest in Marcus Rashford, but it was with Mauricio Pochettino as a manager because Pochettino is a big fan of Rashford. He wanted him last summer at Paris Saint-Germain. This summer was a possibility, but now they're going to change the manager. And so nothing going on between PSG and Manchester United for Rashford. And Rashford will have a conversation with Erik ten Hag. My personal opinion is not a news, but it's a personal feeling. Speaking with some sources, is that Erik ten Hag is prepared to give him a chance to change the situation of Marcus Rashford. He feels that he could be an important player for Manchester United in the future. For sure, they will have to resolve the situation from the contract point of view too, because if Rashford is staying at Manchester United this summer, they will need to open conversations to extend his contract in the next months. He's out of contract in 2023 with an option for further season, but this is something that Man United want to discuss. And for Martial at the moment, the situation is still the same. He's waiting to speak with ten Hag, but Man United are open to discuss in case they will receive some proposals in the coming days.
Yeah, of course. And just the final one, Aaron Wan-Bissaka's a player that's been linked with an exit sort of this summer. And the United have also been linked with Denzel Dumfries at Inter as well. Do you think he could become a target for ten Hag if Wan-Bissaka's future is in doubt?
I think this could be a possibility, but it depends on the proposal because Inter won 35-40 million for Dumfries, and at the moment they have no proposal from Man United or from any club. So at the moment it's still a quiet situation. We will see in the coming days. For sure, Wan-Bissaka situation has to be resolved because Man United are open to letting go in case they will receive a proposal. At the moment, some approaches for a potential loan, but they wanted to wait in case they will receive a potential permanent deal proposal from some other club. And so I will keep the situation open for Wan-Bissaka, and for Dumfries, he's a player that ten Hag knows so well, but at the same point, it's not something that at the moment is negotiated between clubs. For sure, Inter want 35-40 million for Dumfries.
Yeah, and just quickly on Dumfries, finally, do you think he would be a good fit at Manchester United, or the sort of fullback or wing back that ten Hag would like in his team?
Very good player. I'm sure he would be perfect for Premier League football in general. He's a physical player. He's scoring goals also. So he had a very good first season at Inter. It was not easy because he was replacing Hakimi, who has been one of the best right backs in the history of Inter. So it was not easy for him, but he did very well this season. And so I'm sure that he would be a potential good signing for Premier League clubs, for Man United in this case. But at the same point, I want to remind that Diogo Dalot is a player that Erik ten Hag really likes. So I'm sure that Diogo Dalot will be in competition with any right back to be the real starter of this team.